morning, everyone. My name's Nick Roveta. I'm the VP for EMEA for Mobvista. Some of you may have heard of Mobvista. Some of you may not. So this is a short presentation in 3 sections on the trends in advertising spend, the video megatrends, and a few areas of focus for game publishers. Depending on time, there may be an opportunity for some questions at the end. So a bit about Mobvista. We're a public company based in Guangzhou in China, 13 offices, around 250 million DAU going through our mediation products. We're doing around $1 million a day in revenue in 2016, and like a lot of companies in ad tech, it's growing rapidly. And we work with direct apps. That's our main focus. So, the advertising landscape. One of the things that's happened in 2016 that surprised a lot of people is digital spend overtook TV. And the reason why I think this is interesting to share with you is the forecasts put together in 2015 said this event would not happen until sometime in 2017, 2018. So what can we take from that stat? We know that money has been accelerating into digital. Why is that happening? And I'm going to go through a few of those reasons why it's happening. Second up, mobile will be larger than desktop. If we see 2016, 28 billion spent in mobile advertising. By the time we get to 2018, 2 years from now, it's going to be almost double at 50 billion, eclipsing desktop. And if we look at the growth of desktop, it's absolutely anemic. 41 billion in 2016, adding 3 billion by 2020. It's not even keeping up with inflation. There's a few reasons for this. I mean, Mobvista is based in APAC, but we do have offices worldwide. However, there's 3 billion people in that region. And a lot of people in that region never came across desktop. They've gone straight to mobile. So in terms of that huge scale that's coming into our space, it's showing there's real uplift on the ad spend that's coming into mobile. And in mobile, it's video that's dominating. And I know there's been a lot of talks on video today. But I think this is quite a contrasting slide because the display formats were kind of king in mobile for a while. You know, there's banners and interstitials. And I'm glad to see they're dying. It's actually going to decline by 2020. Whereas mobile video is just rocketing up. 2016, it was roughly 4x display, and by the time we get to 2020, it's going to be around 17x bigger than display. So the future is definitely in video. And as Unity have been talking today, it's clear to see why. You know, video has such higher engagements. It's better performance, and what we see is stronger returns for both publishers and advertisers. So it's really easy to see why the spend is piling into video. So we know it's mobile and digital and video. So I think it's a good opportunity to look at some of the video megatrends that are coming up. First up, we're going to see a proliferation of new video formats this year. This is going to create huge challenges for advertisers who are going to be scrambling around to understand which video formats are going to be best for their objectives. Think about the unique production requirements and creative challenges for all these platforms and formats. You know, in my opinion, it'd be interesting to hear what you guys think. Virtual reality video ads will be far more effective for delivering immersive brand experiences. So maybe not performance, which is what the mobile gaming industry knows best. Virtual augmented video ads will be excellent for driving response in hyper-local advertising. So the world's going to get a lot more complex in video, and it won't just be one type of format that's available. So it's going to create huge challenges for the game publishers in the room too. You're going to have new SDKs, new products, new ways to support it, new ways to integrate it into your game. For me, mobile gaming has only recently understood and scaled rewarded video for performance buys. Which in comparison is a very, very simple mechanic when you compare it to some of these formats that are going to be coming out. What else is going on in video? Well, the industry giants are dominating, and I'm talking about Snap, Facebook, and YouTube. Every day, 23 billion video streams are consumed across these three platforms. And it's no surprise to see that they're taking the lion's share of the revenue as well. I mean, the way that Facebook are growing is quite scary for a company that's competing with Facebook. I think it's likely that the investment that we're seeing in things like Facebook Live means that the amount of audience and consumption of video, and also the ad spend, which threatens your revenue, is going to be piling into these three businesses. Advertising spend always follows the audience. The new kid on the block, Snap, is completely dominating the 13 to 24 demographic. I want to spend a bit of time talking about this because this demographic today, we know, does not have a lot of disposable income. They've probably got student loans or worse, pocket money. So actually, the appeal to advertisers to target them is quite small, you would think. But brands have always known that the youth of today will grow up to be the big spending demographic tomorrow. And it's essential that the brands influence the hearts and minds of this early demographic early on. As we know, Snap were first out the block with proprietary hardware to record, share, and consume even more video on the Snap platform. With many manufacturers launching their own AR, VR, and MR, this space is going to get a lot more attention and possibly adoption. And I think it may be interesting to look at why Snap and other companies are creating proprietary hardware. It's to lock brands and consumers into proprietary formats, to deliver the perfect native fit, and to do so within the primary app experience. So two things I think will happen with widespread consumer adoption of proprietary hardware and formats. Consumers will spend more time creating content, excitement, and engagement on Snap. And two, more consumers and engagement locks a platform equals more ad dollars for the platform. So even though Snap was first out with their ads article format, you may have seen that Instagram is following suit, launching their own version of that proprietary format. So these guys, Facebook, Snap, and Google, they are going for it. And personally, I feel that innovation in video is happening fast, much faster outside mobile gaming. I think it's really interesting to see some of the techniques that can be used to maximize revenues, but actually I think there's been a real lack of innovation in video in the last couple of years, and I'm going to talk more about that later on. So why are these guys focusing on proprietary hardware? It's to tighten the grip and monopoly they have on the advertising spend. This is a forecast put out by Snap, and you can see the phenomenal pace that they're growing their ad business, and I don't think anyone in this room will be surprised to see just how popular Snap is going to be, and a likely IPO this year. One other thing that's interesting here is Facebook and Google aren't showing any sign of slowing up, which means if Snap's growing, that money's coming from somewhere else. So it's either coming from other channels like display, TV, radio, print, or it's going to be coming from your business. I know that the mobile gaming space has had a keen eye on brand spend for quite some time. I'm not sure that money is going to come into mobile gaming. Let's take a look at Snap's competitors and what they're up to. Google has proprietary hardware on proprietary software to sell proprietary formats to run on proprietary media. Crucially, as you guys will know, filling your own ads directly on proprietary media is 100% gross profit. No agency rebates, no revenue shares with ad networks. It equals a lot more money for Google for every user that they have. Also, I don't think anyone would disagree. I think they've quite simply got the best end-to-end ad tech platform in the world. And they are completely dominant in search and search advertising. However, I also think that Google will need to do a much better job in brand-orientated mobile formats, as they need to deal with their number one threat, Facebook. They also have proprietary hardware. They attempted proprietary software, but they do sell proprietary formats to run on their proprietary media. They're also the runaway leader in mobile advertising, and I think with Instagram and WhatsApp specifically, that latter is a sleeping giant in terms of revenue opportunities. And I say that from my exposure within Mobvista. You may have heard of WeChat, built by Tencent. It, for me, is probably the most powerful single media type in the whole of SE Asia, Southeast Asia. They've got 750 million DAU, multiple utilities such as payments and dating, and rapidly growing to service the 3 billion consumers in that region. So from my perspective, I would say the future for Facebook looks very, very promising as and when they work out the best way to monetize WhatsApp. They could just copy what WeChat have done and they'd have a phenomenal business. So with all this proprietary, and the industry giants clearly doing it to develop a long-term strategic advantage over our market, how's it been working out for them? In 2016, $77 billion was spent on mobile advertising in the US, of which 70% just went to Facebook and Google. $54 billion. 1,000 plus ad companies were fighting it out, fiercely contesting the remaining 23 billion. And if you do the simple sums, you can see 23 billion divided by 1,000 does not leave a lot of money for the other ad businesses out there. Yeah, and depending on your view of monopolies and duopolies, Facebook and Google are expected to increase their share of that advertising spend this year, which means they're going to be hoovering up even more spend into these businesses. Of course, proprietary is great, but you need the billion DAU first to kind of to pull that strategy off, and that's the difficult bit, isn't it? It's getting that billion DAU. So with all that is going on, video is going to be huge. We've got new video formats and video hardware on the horizon. And it's clear that Facebook, Google, and Snap are in a three-way contest for the lion's share of these mobile advertising dollars. So what do I think that game publishers should be thinking about? I think it's brand spend. And I know there's been a lot of talk about bringing more brands into mobile gaming, and we can perhaps look at some of the reasons why this has not happened yet. There's a huge amount of ad fatigue in mobile gaming. It's the same gamers getting the same game ads from the same game advertisers. As Unity talked about previously, the conversion rate was, I think, 2.4 for every 1,000 views. That number is decreasing month on month. It's going down. So the CPIs are inching higher, and the users, they're not responding to the ads in the same way that they used to. My personal view, is rewarded video really growing the audience in gaming, or is it really just recycling gamers between games? Are we really going out there and bringing in new audience into our ecosystem, or are we just literally working with what we've got? And I think if we look at the consumption in mobile gaming, last year, Flurry did a report, and this year, it's coming down. So I think we need to bring in new consumers, but also new sources of revenue. So essentially, we need to look outwards as an industry and not within for the future. So if we're talking about brands, I think we should discuss the potential for brand advertising placements. Personally, I don't think that brands will be spending in rewarded video at a significant level. And I know there are others in the industry that do feel that. I feel that I can talk here with experience, having built a brand video business that was sold to AOL. And a lot of our traffic in the brand business came through social gaming. And let me tell you, the brands do not like social gaming. They do not like it. They wanted to limit and cap how much inventory would be delivered within social gaming. They don't like the incentivized nature of the placement. So I'm sure there will be some limited brand spend coming in, but it's never going to be big. So we need to think about the kind of placements we should be focusing on. Facebook commissioned this report, and it's actually quite interesting. If you just Google the source, you'll find it. As you'd expect from Facebook, they've talked about the rise of native and how it's going to squeeze non-native formats. We actually feel the same at Mobvista. We love those native placements, and there's a few reasons for that. Well, one, they've been buying it on desktop for years and buying it in the bucket loads. So the brand advertisers that have that money, they're used to spending it on desktop, but they're looking for good opportunities in mobile. And today, all that brand spend in native is getting sucked into Facebook and Snap. And you guys aren't a part of that. We know that integrating native within games is tricky. How do we make it part of the game experience? How does it impact the game design? So I'm not sure it's the right format, but we need to discuss and think about how we get onto this, how we bring in native into mobile gaming, because I think we need to be extending the audience into gaming for brands outside of Facebook and Snap, because there's a whole demographic there that brands want to reach at scale that aren't getting reached on Facebook and Snap and Google. Yeah, the Facebook and Snap, they've got sellers hunting down the market in agencies, meeting major brands week in, week out, educating them on native. So I think in the mobile game industry, we should literally just ride the wave on it. And we build out our own native ad format to serve the brands. Also remember, guys, with native, it's a brand buy. They're paying you on a CPM. That means the value is created from within inside the game. The user will not leave your app. Unlike rewarded video, which requires the user to exit and install. Maybe not there and then. But our analysis shows that a lot of the installs happen within the first hour, which for me says they're leaving the game there and then. The next area that you should be thinking about is private marketplaces. As you can see from the graph, by 2018, 83% of mobile brand spend will be via programmatic. This trend cannot be overlooked. You guys need to figure out a way to deal with this. For the larger publishers in this room who can invest in a direct sales team, having a private marketplace where you'll be able to connect your native brand inventory directly to advertisers will bring you in a lot of spend. I think this trend's a little bit off, maybe another 12, 18 months. Nonetheless, you guys should start making inquiries into companies that have this technology to get a better understanding of how you'll be able to fit this into your revenue strategies in the future. I appreciate not everyone in the room will be experts on private marketplaces and programmatic, in which case please come by the Mobvista stand later today or tomorrow and we'll happily chat through it. However, for all of you, the takeaway is brand spends will be programmatic spends, so you need to get ready. And finally, the last area of focus is to know more about your audience, specifically accurate data on the age and gender of your user. Facebook, Snap, and Google all have age, gender, but they also have interests, behavior, and social graph. I don't know a mobile game out there today that can claim to know this much about their users. For 3 years running, CMOs have stated that knowing more about audiences to increase the effectiveness of targeting and personalization is their #1 priority. Why is that? Audi really don't want to pay to show an R8 ad to a young girl. And a young girl certainly does not want to see an Audi ad. But Audi would want to show an R8 ad to a 34-year-old man, and I suspect, like me, he'd probably quite like it. So brand is about audience data for accurate targeting and personalization. Today, if we look at the way video inventory is available within gaming, it's a blind buy. It's whatever's there. We just serve it up. And today, because we're so focused on the performance aspect of rewarded video, we're on a completely different tangent to where brands are thinking. And we do not want to miss this opportunity. In concert with programmatic and private marketplaces, which we covered in the previous slide, the audience data will enrich the opportunity for you significantly. So when your inventory is available programmatically, you might have it through a private marketplace, and you can enrich the request with additional user data. That is when the brands are going to come in and start spending money. So, to wrap, digital, mobile, and video will be the 3 biggest areas of focus in 2017. And brands are following the audience to mobile-only and mobile-first environments. How are you guys in mobile gaming planning to get some of that spend? Thank you.